Jeff Mittie has K-State women's hoops rolling right now, and he shared part of his recipe for success with me, which boils down to a positive relationship with his players. Here's part 2 of that with Coach.
And I want to circle back to Myra and Kennedy Taylor. It seems like there could not have been two more perfect fits for this lineup that you guys could have gone out and gotten in the transfer portal. Could you just touch on their impact and their ability to just, what seems like to the rest of us externally, seamlessly move into this group?
Well, one of the things that we have tried to do in regards to the portal, and we've been fortunate there in that we haven't needed 5, 6, 7, is to make sure that we stayed true to the fit. I think that in a lot of cases, if you just grab players, that's hard. Now, in today's environment, we're very lucky to not have to do that, because I don't think there's any guarantees that we're not going to have to do that in the future. But in the case of these particular two players, we needed a center that had strength, offensive rebounding, and that was going to be the fit. Okay, that was going to be the fit. Kennedy Taylor checked those boxes. And where I think it's helpful is that when she feels needed, she feels important. And those are things that she could feel right away, that I can make an impact with this team. Tamyra Poindexter is a pretty easy sell in that we were losing Gabby Gregory, three-point shooter, someone that hunted points, someone that had a track record of scoring, getting to the free throw line, doing all those things. So we could really sell to Tamyra that this is a plug and replace. I mean, we can plug you right in, and it's going to be a seamless transition for us offensively, and she could have a vision of where we saw her at.
Hard to single out anybody in specific, but if we were going to Ayoka Lee, now the program's all-time leading scorer, what has she meant to you, and more so, what has she meant to this program and where things stand right now?
You know, she's a terrific leader in a lot of ways. You know, when things aren't well, she's got the maturity. Yeah. She's got an awareness about her that isn't just about her, it's about the overall program. She's got, it's rare for a college player to have that 40,000 foot view. Right. That's something that takes time, and she's been there, done that. She's one. You know, we were struggling maybe 2 weeks before the season started. I was not happy. I felt like we were stagnant. I did not like things. I felt like that my message wasn't getting across. And I scheduled a bunch of two-a-days. Okay. And I called Lee, and we had a conversation. I said, look, I don't want to be doing two-a-days, but I don't like where we're at. And she said, hey, this is exactly what we need. We got to get this corrected. And that's rare. Right. That's rare for players to have that. Serena Sundell would have the same thing. Jalen Glenn's a player that we don't take her for granted. I cannot not write Jalen Glenn in that lineup. Yeah. When I'm going through reps, and she's a player that doesn't get enough credit sometimes, but when I'm going through lineups, right, Jalen Glenn is always there because she's kind of the glue that keeps a lineup together. Yeah, holds it all. But I can call all of them, and if we're doing, and I say, Jalen, is that rep good enough? She'll give an honest, it's not good enough, coach. And I'm lucky as a coach to have a roster full of those players that can be honest when things aren't going good.
When I talked to Yoki back at Big 12 Media Days and just was asking her about the decision to come back and what went into that, what conversations look like, she mentioned that you and her went to go get smoothies, and talk everything out. And I'm just curious, what for you as a coach is kind of the secret to striking that balance between coaching and having a supportive, kind of equal two-way street relationship with your players?
You've got to be able to have an honest conversation when it's not comfortable. Right. Because if I'm praising mediocrity, then that's not an honest conversation. Right. If I'm praising things that I know in my heart aren't the things that they need to do to be successful in life or successful on the floor, then I don't have that trust that I should have.
Yeah.
So I think, and then what you've got to do as a coach is you've got to be true to your word. You know, you've got to, if you tell them you're going to do something, you've got to be true to it. If you tell them you're going to trust them, then you got to trust them. And I try to do that. I haven't always been the best at it, but I think through time and certainly with this team, we've developed that more and more.
A couple weeks before the start of conference play, what would you like to see from this group before you really get into the meat, thick of the schedule and things start picking up?
We're still too inconsistent with what defensively, I think, in contesting shots. We've got it particularly with teams that can stretch us. And that obviously becomes harder and harder. That's one of the things we've done well offensively is our ball movement and our three-point shooting has stretched teams out and made them make decisions. But from the flip side of that, defensively, we've got to get better at getting to those shooters when they can stretch us out, and our rotation's got to be better there. Offensively, we've still got to continue to take strides in handling pressure defensive teams.
Okay.
It's an area that I thought we did make strides against A&M.
Right.
We're looking at staff-wise how we can coach them better. We've got to be able to put them in practice situations that are harder than the games, and make those game situations easier.
Well, it's always so good to catch up with Coach. I just love how candid he is, no matter what the subject matter is. He's a pretty cool guy to sit down with if you ever have the chance.
We had to split into two parts because you guys didn't really talk for 20 minutes.
I know.
Couple yap queens.
It was that good, all right? We'll just go with that.
You guys saw it too.